First, hello everyone, and thank you for watching my video. I'm Yogi's Electronics. In this video I will show you how to disassemble a Sigma camera lens in detail. Are you ready? Then let's get started. I will first remove the plastic parts from the camera lens, so that we can work clean. We need to unscrew the 4 screws on the side first, and then unscrew the 5 screws on the bottom, so that we can pull out the top ring. And please be careful when unscrewing the screws are small and very sensitive. Since the screws are hardened, they are very robust. But the real problem is the aluminum housing, which is unfortunately not that resistant. As you can see, the first ring is plastic and the screws are tight and won't come out. You have to unscrew the screws very finely. And then you have to carefully pull out the black ring. Take a quick look to see if the ring isn't damaged somewhere. If everything is okay, put on aside. I also quickly check if the connector pins and flet cables are good. And now you have to carefully unscrew the 4 screws from the aluminum housing. As you can see, I'm having trouble unscrewing the screws myself. But if you do it carefully, it will work. Now that the screws are loose, carefully lift the aluminum case and check it briefly. If everything is alright. If everything is okay, put it on the side. Since everything is sensitive on a camera lens, you really have to check everything carefully. The smallest damage could cause a big problem. First I will loosen the main connector and then the remaining flet cables. Now I will loosen all the flet cables so that I can free the circuit board. Be careful with the connectors, they are sensitive like the fleet cable, so be careful. If you damage something, it will be very difficult to repair. Especially the spare parts are hard to find. Now we lose the 2 screws and carefully lift the main board. Check the board briefly for moisture damage. If everything is okay, then we can put it aside. The motherboard looks very good. Then we can also put him aside. Now let's check the camera lens for mechanical defects. Every little thing is important. Everything has to turn smoothly in there. Now we will expand the small electric motor for autofocus. And also check for mechanical errors. The engine looks good. The bearings should be greased a bit. Now I have to check the teeth for brakes. The gearing looks very good. There are no brakes. Now I check if other parts are loose or broken. Everything looks fine, but when I shake the lens something is loose inside. That's funny. And there is the problem, something is wrong with the part. I think the image stabilizer is defective. Now loosen the small screw to detach the flet cable from the image stabilizer. As you can see, something is weird with the flet cable. Now we remove the remaining small electronic parts. To see if I can get to the image stabilizer. Now I have to remove the rubber to get to 2 more screws to pull the plastic case out. The screws are under the 2 brass plates. Now I have to remove the 2 glued plates to get to the screws. The two small screws must be carefully unscrewed to remove the bridging rail. The storage for the zoom function must also be unscrewed and then carefully pulled out. And now you can carefully pull out the zoom housing, and be careful with the cable. Now unscrew the 5 small screws to remove the small plastic housing. Now carefully pull out the housing. As you can see, the flet cable broke completely. This is very likely due to the time, and on the other hand the camera lens had a hard fall. After close inspection, the camera lens had a crack from them where the image stabilizer sits. Unfortunately, I couldn't show that on my video because it's not visible to my camera. After a thorough search on the internet, I did not find any suitable spare parts. And after agreeing with the owner, he wanted to keep the camera lens as a decoration in his studio. So I didn't want to take it apart completely. Since I'm curious how the small electric motor and the translation work, I'll take the engine and operation apart shortly, so you can see what it looks like and how to lubricate and reinstall it. My apologies for the blurry image, the parts are very small and quite difficult to get into focus. Be careful when greasing the bearings, it really needs very little grease. Very well, the electric motor turns much easier. If you tighten the spring where it sits, then the motor will turn a little harder, but it has to be, just don't tighten the spring too much. The gearbox looks very good, no need to lubricate it perfectly. Now let's build everything together in reverse. I'll play the video in time lapse. So the camera lens is back in its old condition and works except for the image stabilizer. Thank you for taking the time for my video. I would appreciate a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.